Passing through an empty road, something up ahead has caught your eye. You see a valley with a dark black pathway stretching vastly through the open fields. Fields with barbed wire fences, tatty and falling to piles of mesh and wood. All around you, you see a calm breeze gently flowing through the blades of colorless grass, flowing outward to a gray, ashy, featureless sky. If that didn't catch your attention, then this will. In front of you, you see nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing but a blank white plain. So if you are shaken enough by entering the plain, then you don't want to even think about leaving it. One day, a young boy was walking down a village path. He was boringly stepping across the old grass-covered ground when a feeling came across him. An odd feeling, like he was being followed. Unnerved, the boy started to pace a bit faster. He felt it deepen like a massive headache, the kind of headache one gets if wanting company, someone to be around. The boy soon found his way at the end of that aforementioned path, where he noticed it was getting unusually dark. The boy checked his watch to see what time it was, and much to his disturbance, the time on the watch suddenly changed from 5:33 to an unusual 2500. The boy was too confused for words when he looked up to see a statue. This statue was very peculiar. The expression was somewhat cheerful, and as the boy examined it, he learned that it was staring. Not like any normal statue, but one designed to send somewhat of a sign of surreality onto the observer. The boy shakily looked back at his watch to see the time was now 25:01. He wasn't really upset by this until he looked back at the statue to be met with a creepy expression, as if expecting something exciting to happen. The boy turned around and slowly ran back the way he had originally come, very disturbed. And what he saw next was something that would send a horrible shiver down his entire body. The world that surrounded him had become nothing more than a gray-skied, grass-filled plain. The boy had no other choice. He had to run. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran, for what seemed like hours, until he unexpectedly ran into a fence of barbed wire, piercing him badly. This injury was so bad that it forced the boy to limp. He tried finding a gate or some sort of exit, and that's when he turned around and saw it. The statue he saw at first was now only 10 feet away from him. The boy was so terrified that he turned around and leapt over the fence. He landed painfully on the ground, not realizing that there was nothing to see around him anymore. Not even the fence he had just jumped over was there. Nothing but a blank, gray fog, so thick that the boy couldn't even see his own hands in front of him. As the boy recovered on the ground, he suddenly noticed that the time was now a strange 25:20. The boy then turned around to see the fog and what appeared to be a road. Having no other option, the boy decides to make his way up the road. The boy felt like he was lost, for he had been walking for hours. All he saw for that time was the gray nothingness in front of him. He soon stopped to take a breath, and when he looked to his left, he saw that statue. Horrified, he noticed that it was not any normal statue, as this time he saw what he assumed to be an angry face. Scared, the boy ran even more, trying to outrun it. He soon ended up at a deep hedge. This hedge was at least 50 feet high. The boy turned around again to see a glow in the foggy distance. It was the statue, with a horrible, shocked look on its face. The boy screamed in terror as he ran into the maze. He looked to see that all the hedges were way too tall for him to climb, so he continued to run through, looking around the many turns, afraid to look back. That is, until he reached a dead end. He was afraid, but he had to turn back, and so he did, in such a way that you would think that he was scared no more. But he was. He turned to see nothing but a dark corner in the distance, and in a rushed attempt he quickly ran into the next path. The boy once again took a look at his watch. It was now 25:30. He ran and he ran until he reached what appeared to be a dead end. He quickly noticed a cut in the bottom of the hedge. With time being of the essence, he crouched down and crawled his way through the gap, hoping to escape the being in pursuit of him. He got out on the other side to see more maze. This sent a bad feeling down his spine. What if the statue was here? Despite his fear, the boy built up his courage to continue through the maze. As he did, he heard a shrill voice shout, "No cheating." This gave the boy an instant shock of terror. He ran around the corner, looking back to see the statue standing not far away. He turned back and ran one more corner to see a foggy blank path. It was the exit. The boy now ran, trying to think of nothing but trying to escape. He turned his head around to see the statue, still chasing him. As he looked at his watch to see 25:50, he ran back out into the fog. The boy was now running at a much faster pace, just hoping to get to the end, and looking back to see the statue with an angry, bloodthirsty expression. The boy ran even faster, hoping to get to the end. Once again, he heard the voice. "I'm going to get you." He ran faster and faster, and when I do, the boy saw in front of him a narrow tunnel. He had no choice but to keep moving forward, so he ran down the tunnel as fast as he could go when he heard the one sentence that would haunt his dreams forever. "I'm going to kill you." The boy ran even faster still, hoping to get to the end. When he stopped, he looked at his watch to see the time was now 25:59. He saw nothing but a dead end. He screamed in fear as he thought of the statue, now curled up into a ball, with tears running down his cheeks and his eyes in his palms. The boy slowly looked up to see the statue 7 feet away, and then it said, "I win." The boy screamed as the stone-cold figure rushed at him as he blacked out in fear. The watch was now at 0:00. The boy is alive, awake in his bed, talking of his dreams. Dreams of a dark plane where no one can enter without having to find the exit. He spoke of how he laid there every night, staring in horror at his window, seeing the statue just standing there, torturing him with cries of pain and agony. Even today, at the age of 35, the boy still has these experiences, lying there in his asylum bed, screaming and crying in pain, as all he could ever see was the statue, and all he could ever hear was, "I'm going to kill you."